to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
Welcome to New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, and I found two people who can help you with your struggles, worries, and anxieties, but these aren't just random people. They've got the credentials. Chris Williams is a licensed marriage and family therapist. Dr. Jill Hubbard is a clinical psychologist. Great credentials, I'd say. Dr. Jill, what's on your mind to get us going today?
Well, hi, guys. So we're going to talk a little bit more about forgiveness. Last time I shared, I was thinking a lot about forgiveness. We saw in the light of a public statement of forgiveness towards a killer by Erica Kirk. And so I was looking into some of what our dear Dr. Dave Stoop has talked about forgiveness. So I have a little quiz for you guys today.
Okay.
And we're going to look at some myths and truths about forgiveness. Okay. So you at home listening, follow along and see what you would answer. Okay. The first one is, when forgiving, I should always try to forgive and forget.
I'd say false.
False.
That is false. Yes. We don't forget because trust is earned over time, right? And we don't want to just forgive and then go, mind numb. Okay. It's good to get angry when I'm trying to forgive.
True.
I would say true.
Okay, you guys, you're 2 for 2. Yes. Yes, so it is good because anger is part of... You guys are going to
fist bump.
Yes.
You guys, anger is part of the healing process, and we're supposed to have righteous anger, but we're not supposed to act on our anger. So that is part of it. Okay, I should give up all hard feelings towards the person I forgive.
False.
I'd say false also.
Actually, that one is true.
Whoa, we failed.
So that's what we're
I just said false because
towards.
I thought Chris was right.
Because you want to cease to dwell on resentment.
That's really good.
So you're handing that over to the Lord.
Yep.
Okay? I should try to forgive others quickly and completely.
False.
True?
It's false. It's false. It's a process. It's a journey and a process. And sometimes we need to forgive over and over again because there might be things that linger on. It's not just a one-time act.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. Over time, my hurt will go away. My forgiveness of the other person will take care of itself.
False.
False.
False. Yes, we do have to be intentional about it.
We got to do the work.
Yeah, we do. Okay, if I've forgiven, I will never have feelings of hatred against those who have hurt me.
False.
I wish.
Yeah.
I know. It's false. It's false. So just because your feelings come back up doesn't mean that you haven't forgiven. Because remember, hate is not the opposite of love. It's a passionate emotion, and it's very closely linked. And so you're going to feel things. You're going to feel all kinds of things in the process because you're grieving and you're having to heal.
And much like hate and the hard feelings, they also become feedback mechanisms that we have more work to do.
Yes, absolutely. So we don't want to just, so often in Christendom, we hear of people saying, well, I just forgave and now it's all done, especially in the areas of betrayal, which is the gift that keeps on giving. Right? And people get hurt by that because then they go back into denial instead of doing the work that they need to do. Okay, well, we'll have to stop there, I guess.
I was hoping you'd do one more.
Wait, I'll do one more.
Okay.
We might have a little bit more time. Okay, if I forgive, I am in some way saying that what happened to me didn't matter.
Absolutely false.
Okay, yes, because forgiveness never makes evil acts good. And that's important to hold on to.
I always say this, it wouldn't need forgiveness if it wasn't wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fun way to start today's program with this little quiz, and I was starting to sweat, thinking, wait a minute, she didn't prepare me for this, but I got 2 wrong. I guess that's like, 80% maybe?
Well, I'll give you the rest later.
Okay, maybe I'll get a little star to pin on my shirt and go home. All right, your phone call is coming up here on New Life Live.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity, impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Dallas, Texas, November 7th through the 9th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
So that quiz that we took at the beginning of the program is from Dr. 𝙇𝙤𝙑𝙀's book, Forgiving What You'll Never Forget, which is available for purchase in the newlife.com store. So check it out. Well, not check it out because it's not a library. Purchase it there at the newlife.com store. To Washington, D.C. we go. Here is Pam listening on WAVA. Hello, Pam. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hi. Thank you so much. My question is about my older brother. I have a brother who had a daughter at the age of 19 when he was a sophomore in college. And he got married, and he started having children with his wife. And we did not know that he had been telling his family. His children are now, all of them are in their 20s, and I think his oldest one is in his 30s. But all the children are grown, but he had been telling the kids that his oldest daughter, who will turn 50 next month, is not really his biological child. And we didn't find this out until about, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. And then when we found out about it, he told us that we needed to choose between he and his new family or our niece. Now, my niece has been a part of our family since she was born and has been and is his daughter. And this is so hurtful because I have 5 siblings, and all of us basically grew up with her. And we have the proof that she is his daughter. And this is so hurtful to her because, he grew up acknowledging her, and he didn't flip until he got married and started having children, in marriage.
Yeah.
And he told me that he felt like he couldn't tell his other children about his mistake because that means that they will probably may make the same mistake he did. And I told him how wrong that is, that she's our niece, we love her, and he told us to choose.
Wow.
And I said, I choose my niece. I know, it was so hurtful. I mean, heartbreaking.
Yes.
And
Well,
I said, I'm not going to abandon.
Pam, let me just ask, so he was pregnant by a girlfriend but didn't marry her?
Yes.
Okay. Or with a girlfriend.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not the mom. They didn't get married, but he got married later. Okay. So she has a different mother than the rest of the children.
Yes. So he has 4 children in all.
Okay.
And so we've been dealing with this, and it's so hurtful because my mom and dad, they took care of us, and my father told my brother, he said, I do not want you to quit college. I will take care of your baby. But stay in college. And everybody was so supportive of my brother as he, took care of his daughter. And then once he got married, years later, he gets married, has children, and then he wants us to choose.
Yeah. So
and why now?
So,
why now is this coming up?
Yeah. So Pam, I have a line. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say why now. Well, I'm not quite sure, but like I said, he had been telling his children this lie about Regina because, well, that's my niece. Her name is Regina. He had been telling his children about her, but he had been lying, and we didn't know that. And I don't know if he started to do it when they were like 7 or 8 or 9 years old.
Yeah, well, he's
Because now-
because he's doubled down and he's caught in this lie. But Pam, I'm going to give you a line to tell yourself that may help you communicate with your brother. It may not, I don't know. But the line you tell yourself is, I am not going to abandon a niece that I love to protect you, brother, from your shame and embarrassment.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? So we're not going to let shame and embarrassment cause more hurt, more abandonment. Because it's already done. I can only imagine a countless amount of damage to his daughter that he is denying. To abandon and deny your own daughter is a next level of hurt and pain of experiences on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So it's like, I will not participate in that evil. I'm sorry. I'm not choosing, again, evil to protect you because you're embarrassed about this situation that happened how many years ago, and you've lied and been caught up in your lies. So when we get that clarity around it, we understand that, yes, we do have to choose. We aren't choosing necessarily people. We're choosing what's right and what's best. And so it's like, hey, I'm not choosing you and I'm not choosing her. I'm choosing what's right and best, and you're going to have to deal with that.
Plus, the younger kids are adults now, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yes, they
he
are.
can't really say you're choosing between her and us. I mean, it would be up to those 3 kids to if they
Well,
want
and
to remain in a relationship with Pat.
That's why I'm wondering, has there been a falling out, or the ongoing lie has just come to light?
The ongoing lie has come to light.
Okay.
And when I told my brother, when I asked him, why don't you just tell your children? I said, children understand. They know that parents are not perfect. I said, but this is so wrong. And I called it wickedness, because she grew up with us. And I don't know how to really, it's heartbreaking, because my other brother said, he said he refuses to talk to my older brother. He said, until he acknowledges his daughter. Because he's heartbroken. We're all heartbroken, because I was 15 years old when my niece was born. I was 15.
Yeah.
So she has been a part of our family.
How does she feel?
And I love that you all embrace her, and she needs a lot of love in this rejection from her father.
Yeah.
Yes, and she's still dealing so much with the rejection, because she sees all of us. And we are a close family. She sees all of us dealing with our children, and it's like her father is just not acknowledging her. And he doesn't come. He doesn't come around.
Yeah, well, instead of your brother accepting the mercy and grace and love that your family showed him and helping him through that time, he chose to take care of it himself, as you said, and went into shame, and has been trying to cover up his own shame for having made, what probably he deems as a mistake. But we do know God meant for your niece to be here, even in spite of how she came into the world. Right? He makes good out of those things, out of our mistakes.
It's kind of why I love the Old Testament, because the Old Testament is really messy. It's R-rated. It's real to life and the messiness of life, and the story that God injects in himself, or it has in himself in the Old Testament, is that he is in a constant process of redemption and renewal.
Absolutely.
And to this point. And that's what breaks my heart about your brother, is that he just simply won't allow that to happen.
Right.
But that doesn't mean others can't. So his shame has even put an ultimatum that has, quite honestly, this sounds really harsh, but it's what your brother has done, not what other people. He has put an ultimatum now that has disqualified himself from relationship. And that's heartbreaking, but that's the reality.
What do you guys recommend from the newlife.com store that we can send to Pam? I was thinking of making peace with your father, that maybe she can pass on to her niece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a good
I think
one.
that's a great one.
Yeah.
Pam, stay on the phone, and we'll send you a copy of Making Peace with Your Father. And you can read it too, of course, but then pass it on to your niece. Thanks for calling in today to New Life Live. Let's go to California. Here is Diane in Valley Center, listening on newlife.com. Hey there, Diane. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Welcome. I welcome you guys to me. So, do you want me to just kind of, yeah. And so do you want me to just kind of give you a little bit of a...
Well, let's start with the main
little
question.
spill.
What's the main question that you have for us?
Okay, okay, here we go. Let's start that. I've been married 10 years to a man who I found out last few years is a narcissistic with serious anger issues as far as threatening to kill me, pulled his gun on me one time, pulled the gun on him 3 times. So what I did, I divorced him as of several weeks ago, and he got served with papers. I thought it would just go through fine. But what he did, he picked up the phone in 30 minutes, even though he's on a restraining order, and said, "Can we talk?" I said, "What do you want to talk?" He text messaged me. He said, "What do you want to talk about?" And he said, "I want to talk about us." So I waited a few minutes. I said, "Okay, we can talk. That's fine." So he starts talking, and here's the story. He said he's been gone for 5 months living with his sister. And what happened, he said, "I seeked God." Now, he's been a Christian for many, many years, but he's never been one of those committed Christians, the ones that fear God. And so he always told me Satan visited him every day and gave him ugly things to say and do to me. And so I said, "You're kidding me." I said, "I never talk to Satan. What are you doing talking?" That's what I wanted to say. What are you doing talking to him? I don't spend my time with him. And so we talked on the phone for several weeks. And he kept saying, "I received the Holy Spirit. I spoke in tongues. I'm going to follow the Lord, and I'm going to put you first in my life, and I'm going to learn to love you the way God wants me to love you."
So did you let him
I
back
heard that
in?
for weeks. Yes, sir.
Okay. And then what?
So there's the beginning. And so he's been home for 4 weeks now.
But you
And
guys
we
are
got into
divorced.
an argument. Yes. No, ma'am, we're not.
I thought you said you divorced
The
him.
divorce did not go through.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did with the paperwork, but I
Gotcha.
didn't.
You filed.
I stopped it.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I filed, and he got served. And so then we talked, and he really was good at first. He really was. My biggest fear was that he was going to bring his anger back. And you know as well as you know more than I do about this. Narcissistic people don't just have anger. That's the way they communicate, and they go into an outrage. True or false?
It can be true.
No.
Like the
can
beginning
be
of our
true.
show.
Well, and Diane, you don't need us to confirm that.
No.
And here's why. You don't even need the word. You don't need the word narcissist. In fact, I think it's in your way, not helping you. And here's why.
Okay.
I'm not worried of whether he's narcissistic or not. What I'm worried about is he has relational behavior that is very, very damaging.
And violent.
And when we name that behavior,
Yes.
right? Because here's where narcissism goes off, gets us off track, is that if we label him as this person, right, it sort of blankets the behavior. But instead, when we go after the specific behavior, we say, no, you can be mad, you can be angry, but you can't be rageful and harmful and abusive to me. You know, because there's something...
Amen.
There's something that he didn't do in all of this process that is absolutely essential and is the very first step in correcting any negative pattern of behavior in our life. Do you know what that is? Radical owner.
Well,
Well, I'll just tell you.
Go ahead.
It's radical ownership of the problem. It's saying,
There you go.
this is inside of me. I have done this.
Because even
And
when he
this is-
said that Satan was telling him all these things,
yeah,
it's
Satan
almost
gets
like
to be.
he's...
Satan gets to be my scapegoat. God gets to do the work for me. I don't have to do it.
So where does the flesh fit
that's
in?
an over.
sounds a little bit like, yeah.
So there's an
That
over.
sounds like him a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an over spiritualization of the process.
And it sounds good.
Yeah.
You want to hear him saying that he's had an experience with Jesus and that he's now seen the light. He's going to do the right things. But I think it's a bit idealistic.
Well,
and telling you what he knows will work.
Yeah, and
because he's feeling desperate.
And there is an anger inside of him that he has not addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Until he addresses that and works through that, it's just going to stay alive.
Mm-hmm. You cannot.
Then that's my question to you. Then that's my question to you guys. How do I address it? Because I have addressed it. And he blew up. You need to. I'm staying very calm.
Well,
I'm not yelling at him. I'm staying very calm.
Diane, hear me really quickly. We're coming up against the break. You need to address it with your behavior. The divorce is back on the table.
Just like that.
Yep.
All right. We'll continue our conversation when we come back here on New Life Live. Diane, thanks for calling in, and we've got other calls that we want to get to before the hour ends. Thank you so much for calling in today to New Life Live. I'm Brian Perez here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Chris Williams. We sure do appreciate you guys. God bless you. We'll be back on New Life Live.
Nobody gets married thinking that they're going to get divorced, yet there are so many people that experience divorce. How do we get through it? It can feel like it's the end of your story, but we also know that life goes on. So how do we get the healing that we need?
The Moving Forward Hope After Divorce webinar is Thursday evening, October 16th.
The live session will offer recovery tips like how to process grief in a healthy biblical way, practical steps for emotional healing after divorce, how to set healthy boundaries. This session is for anyone who's separated, divorced, or still navigating the long-term impact of divorce. Maybe you've been divorced for many years and you're still holding on to that resentment.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com.
It's not information, it's an invitation to heal, to hope, to rebuild, to trust that God has more for your story.
Start your new chapter today. 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 1-800-639-5433. Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back with Diane in Valley Center, California. You still with us, Diane?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chris, or Jill, I'm sorry.
Okay, I just wanted to jump in. So, because Chris, yes, you made a statement right before the break.
I went hard and fast right before the break.
And I think that is something that, yes, Diane, you need to look at. But I think what you're also saying is that it was probably premature, Diane, for him to come back home without having any criteria of what he needed to do. I would have liked to have seen you say, okay, if we're going to maybe move in a direction, because you're saying all the right things, but I'm going to need to see that your walk and your talk match. So him getting into therapy, him doing some anger management, you guys going to couples therapy, and dating and working towards him moving back home. So I think sometimes when we hear all the right things, and God can do anything, and so I'm not saying you should doubt what God can do, but sometimes when someone says all the right things, it's just that, and it's a little idealistic, and they're in denial of their own inability to not be angry moving forward. Because when he's in that feeling state of, I just want her back, I'll do anything, okay, he believes that. But what he doesn't realize is you guys are going to get back into those unhealthy patterns that triggered his anger in the first place.
All right, Diane, stay on the phone and we'll send you a copy of Boundaries from the newlife.com store. And we'd also like to suggest that you and your husband maybe attend the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive.
That would be awesome.
Yes,
Diane.
yes.
That would be a step in the right direction.
That's coming up in about a week in Dallas. It starts October 17th. You can get all the details at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Another intensive that we do is Every Man's Battle, and that is happening the weekend of November 7th in Dallas. Last month, the workshop was sold out. For over 20 years, New Life has been helping men find freedom at this workshop. Now, you might ask, you might be new to the program and you're saying, what kind of freedom? Well, listen to what Bob shared after attending. I went to EMB in 2019 after a life full of hiding porn and other sexual addiction. I had tried white knuckling for years and also participated in sexual addiction groups and individual counseling. I had some temporary freedom, but always fell back to the old life. EMB opened my eyes to things I never saw, my disconnectedness to other people. It gave me a group of men to hold me accountable and build relationships with without shame. I've learned more about true fellowship in the last year or so than I did in the previous 50-plus years. Sexual bondage tempts me every day, but no longer has a hold on me. This new life of freedom is unbelievable. To anyone out there sick of their sexual bondage, go to EMB. This is a major turning point in my life. Man, Bob, thank you so much for sending that in. And when you give to New Life Ministries, your gift will be put to work right away to directly support New Life programs that offer hope where there's despair, healing where there's brokenness. You'll also help people like Bob connect to a new life of freedom. You can give online at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE or text NLM to 28950. Let's now talk to Jay in Philadelphia, listening on WBYN. Hi, Jay. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. What's going on?
I struggle with, I used to call them dreams, but they're much worse than that. They are nightmares. Terrible, terrible nightmares. And that's the reason I'm calling, because I hear I've been listening to you folks for years, and I hear so many calls about abuse and all these things, and I've never heard anyone call in about nightmares. I'd like to know what's going on in my stupid brain.
So how long has this been going on, Jay?
As long as I can remember. I'm 78 years old, but it's probably the last 10 years anyhow. I dream every night. But last night they were terrible, terrible, terrible. And that's what prompted me to call them out.
Do your dreams have a theme, Jay?
I don't know.
Like, is there a common thing?
They're nasty, and I am nasty.
What do you mean?
What do you mean by that?
Are you nasty in your dreams?
Okay. Here's what happened last night. I don't know how to interpret it. Last night, I'm a retired contractor, right? And we've redone houses and that type of thing. But last night I was redoing an old rehab house, and in the eaves of the house were huge snakes. Now, I hate snakes, so a lot of times I dream about snakes. But there was huge snakes in there, so I grabbed the pitchfork, and I'm killing them. And I'm just stabbing them and killing them. And I'm scared to death that they're going to get me, but they didn't attack me. Somehow, later on in the dream, I'm killing young kids with his pitchfork. Stabbing them in the neck and the chest, and killing them with no remorse whatsoever. How sick is that?
Well, here's the first thing I want to say to you. We are not our thoughts, and we are not our dreams.
And dreams are not literal.
Yes, right? Most of our dreams, are very metaphorical, as you said. We see that throughout Scripture, and to be honest, I want to hand it right off to Jill, but we're going to go to break here because, the dream interpretation is not my strength, to be real honest. But I do believe that there are themes and processes and quote-unquote revelations in there that we need to pay attention to.
Absolutely.
All right, so Jay, we'll come back to you here on New Life Live. Thank you so much for calling in today, for trusting us with this issue of dreams and nightmares that you keep having. And I just ask everybody listening and watching to pray for Jay that he'll get a good night's sleep without these dreams.
I became aware that my husband had had an affair. He was viewing porn on the computer. I was totally unaware of anything like sex addiction. Through the workshop, I truly believe my soul has been restored. The workshop educated me about what sex addiction was. It also gave me courage. I learned how to stand up for myself. Without a doubt, it was the most significant thing that I did.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
That workshop is where I found the tools and the people to heal from this most heartbreaking thing of my life.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
You still with us, Jay?
Yes.
All right, thanks for holding through the break.
Jay, thank you so much for sharing this. And you're right, it is an interesting, different topic than we normally get. And so we like, with dreams, because they aren't exact, we like to have a little bit of fun with them, even though this is not a fun dream at all. And I can see why it feels very disturbing to you. So dreams do several things. They help us work on things that we need to process while we're asleep. And because they defy, they're a little bit more surreal and they don't have to fit into current orientation of time and place, it allows us to explore things. Now, dreams are not literal, like I said, but they're symbolic. And so sometimes different parts of ourselves can be the different characters in the dream, or we can take on the characteristics of someone else. It usually draws from, like I said, the unresolved issues as well as things currently going on in our environment. So that's why you'll see current people or current things. So snakes can often represent desire, sexuality, temptation, things like that, okay? And so in the dream, you're killing off perhaps a desire or a temptation that is something that part of you does not want, right? And then you're killing these young kids. And of course, that's disturbing if you were thinking that you were doing that. Now, we're going to take a leap here because we don't know you and we don't know your history. It could mean a lot of things. The kids could represent parts of you. Mm-hmm. And we wonder about your childhood, maybe some things that happened to you in childhood. And so the killing of the young kids could be about a form of abuse that has happened in your life. And I don't know if that fits or not. And we do know with abuse, there's, bullying or all kinds of abuse, there can be an identifying with the aggressor. Yes. Because it's a more powerful position. So even though you're the one doing the killing, it might be an identification to not be the victim, and that you're trying to work out ways in which you were victimized. Now, we're talking about abuse. It could be, anything from severe to mild, or where you have felt, taken advantage of,
hurt,
not powerful, hurt, things like that nature.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I can tell you, I was born to a wannabe, we thought we were, but it was hypocritical, conservative Mennonite church. And there was hatred amongst my mother and father. And they had to get married. I'm a child of, that.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to get married because of me. But they did it. And they had 4 other children. And we were poor. We lost our house. I was probably 12 years old, went up for sheriff sale. But it was bought by a friend who left us live there. So, yeah, and I am the oldest. So, and I've always been a controller. I will say that. I've been in business all my life. So I'm the kind of guy that says if I'm not in control, I'm out of control. Did you get that?
Yeah.
So, but I've been a bad kid. I've been in prison 7 times by the time I was 17. But I've overcome that. I do not dwell on it. I like to talk about it to help other people so it doesn't happen to them.
Yeah.
And I do well with that. When I'm asked, I don't issue any of that. I don't push that on anybody. But I love to help other people.
Okay, so
but here's a problem that I have. I am either I love people, but I also can hate people. I have no center line. I'm a hater or a lover.
Yes. So, Jay, there's one person that you hate that needs resolved.
Me.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Jill, that was spot on.
That.
Yeah, that was spot on when you're saying that he's trying to kill off parts of himself.
Yeah.
Because
amen, brother.
Jay
and sister.
Yes, definitely and sister on this one. Because what Jill was leading you to is the way in which you're telling your story. You were saying I was a bad kid. I'm like, no, you weren't. You were a hurt kid. You're a scared kid. You said I was born into hatred. I'm like, oh, that's a story. That's a story with a predominant theme. And so when we tell this
under the rug because we were conservative Christians.
Yeah, I totally get that.
I
totally get it. We had this conversation earlier with a man who was denying his own daughter.
Yeah.
Because of his own shame.
Yes, I heard
right? And so you were born into a shame-ridden family. And that shame has written your story, that you're bad. And when you're bad, you're unsafe, you're evil, you're all these things. You can't be loved. And so
you can't trust your emotions. Talk about extremes.
Yeah, extremes.
You either love or hate people,
yeah.
right?
And oftentimes when we grow up in these really highly controlling fundamental families or movements, it's all about control. Is that the world is divided straight black and white.
Well, we're not accepted by grace.
Yes.
We have to conform, right, to the ideal.
And here's the most ironic part of that, spiritually speaking, is we call that faith when it's the exact opposite. Because what it does is it tries to eliminate the risk of sin, the risk of evil, the risk of condemnation, or the risk of hurt. Faith in the word itself requires that it's a risk. And so the risk of being loved, the risk of working through difficulty, the risk of failing and recovering, all of those sort of things, as you're saying, Jill, grace is absent of this story. Yeah.
All right, Jay.
Absolutely. So Jay, I think there's you have a
I have demons.
I think you have a demon story, and what I mean by that is your story is born in a bad place and needs to be retold differently, re-understood differently.
I think it would be really great, Jay, if you could get into some therapy with a man, and someone who's somewhat versed in dreams and post-traumatic stress, and that you could talk about your narrative. And what life was like for you and how you've internalized that.
Jay, for calling in today, we're going to send you a copy of How You Think Determines the Course of Your Life. It's a devotional that's available in the newlife.com store.
And let me just say, Jay, I have several people that are in their 80s and even 90s because at the later stages of life is when you reflect on your story, and it's the time to work it out with the Lord. So that you live, full of His grace instead of being haunted.
All right, let's take another phone call. Here is Pat in Washington, D.C., listening on WAVA. Hi, Pat.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well. How can we help you today?
So I'm going to try to start with the question. I hear you guys always like, what's the question? I want to know if the things that I'm doing to help my 18-year-old nephew, who I believe is addicted to his games and his phone, if I'm doing the right things or if I should be doing anything at all.
So what are you doing?
So I would say we're probably about 2 weeks in with him turning his phone in to me at night, an hour before bedtime. And I've already talked to him enough about the phones, so I'm trying not to do that as much. There's a book called...
Sorry, Pat, your nephew lives with you.
Well, so he was supposed to be with me for 1 month after he graduated high school. He graduated in May. He was going to be with me just for the month of June, but he's still with me because he doesn't really have any plans. So I'm trying to help in that area as well.
And where are Mom and Dad?
Well, his dad, and so there's no family issues, I should say, going on. So his dad is in a different state. My nephew actually volunteered to come down initially to help me with some things after my parents have passed. And then again, it was supposed to be like a month, but we're all kind of fine with him staying while my brother is trying to help mature up another child. So he's just here, but he's not, he says he wants to go to college, but he really doesn't do anything. He's on his devices all the time, unless you give him something to do. And if you give him something to do, he will do it, but he does it with the mindset of, let me hurry up and finish, and then I get back on my game.
What do you guys...
We're about to go to... really all the time.
Yeah, we're about to go to break. Do you have like a question that maybe we can ask Pat that she can think about during our break?
Yeah, what more can you do to make sure that your house is not an arcade?
I like that. We'll continue our conversation with Pat when we come back here on New Life Live. Thank you so much for listening today, and thanks for telling your friends about us. You can just point them to our website and they can find out more. It's newlife.com. We'll be back.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and
it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And back to Pat in Washington, D.C. You still with us, Pat?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Take it away, guys.
Well, here's the problem with addiction is that, and I believe that that's obviously what we have here, is that it's an escape from reality. And it also dulls our senses and our faculties. I was just telling Jill, one of the most heartbreaking things that I see with screen addiction, video addiction, video games, is it steals a person's ability to imagine in real time. What I mean is to dream about their own lives and to pursue.
And to be creative. It just fills the space.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no thinking that goes on.
Yeah. So we're thinking Pat, there needs to be some requirements for housing for your nephew. More than just turning in his phone an hour from bed.
Which is good.
I love that. That's a great boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Jill, you were thinking...
You
like a job?
Okay. I was going to say my other idea...
go for it.
You didn't like.
What's
the research
idea. Prescribing the problem.
Yes. Well, I had one random thought, Pat, about, in a limited time, telling him to research phone addiction because it is becoming a problem. And that way that algorithm will come to his phone. And okay, but Chris isn't 100% on board with that, but you might think about that.
I'm open to it.
Yes, I think it would be could be good intervention. The other thing is, Pat, I would require that he work. That he needs to have a job, and until he gets a job, then there needs to be some volunteer work or something so that he's occupied. And we were thinking he needs to work outside of the house, nothing online, maybe retail or food service. And if he's, transportation-wise, it would be great if, and I don't know where you live, but if he could walk to a job, because that also slows you down. You stop and smell the roses, you see things you don't see. And then in a job where you have to be face to face with people, that's good interaction for him and gets him away from the phone and has, a rounded out life and schedule that can give him some space maybe to think about what he wants to do. Because you also learn in those entry-level jobs that you don't want to do that forever.
Yes, you want something more different.
Yep, for sure. All right, we're going to send you a copy of Understanding and Loving Your Child in a Screen-Saturated World.
Okay,
That's
good.
available in the newlife.com store. We're going to send it to you, Pat. And now we're going to talk to Sally, who is in Oakland, listening on newlife.com. Hey there, Sally. Thanks for calling in today. Hey. What's going on?
Today?
Doing well. How can we help you?
I'd like to know how I move forward with looking for a job and feeling competent, like I can handle it emotionally. I actually wrote some quick things down, if I can give you some background.
Sure.
My husband has been laid off for a year. We're living off savings. I haven't worked since before my daughter was born. She's a preteen now. I was going to therapy, but I stopped when my husband got laid off. My preteen daughter, she has a neuropsychological diagnosis of social issues. She has ADHD. She's not autistic or has Asperger's, but she needs a lot of management. And she participates in activities, but she doesn't have a lot of friends. So a lot of times it's me trying to fill that gap. Coming into the end here, my therapist had suggested that my mom was a narcissist. I'd seen my therapist for a few years. My husband, he's resolved his issues through EMB, but he has a hard time conveying his emotions. And in the past, there's been gaslighting, which I think makes it hard for me to trust my reality sometimes.
Yeah.
And everything seems to knock me off balance emotionally. And I'd like to know how I can move forward with looking for a job and feeling competent and like I can handle it emotionally with everything that I've got going on.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, Sally, that's a lot. And emotionally, that's hard. Here's the thing. As adults, we all are afraid. And so part of this, in terms of being able to be competent and handle it, I mean, first of all, you haven't been in the workplace in years, probably a decade. But at the same time, you work every day. Look at all the things you do and handling your daughter and your husband and fielding things. So you have skills, and it's important that you remind yourself of the skills and the talents that you have. Also, none of us are enough, and we count on our Lord and Savior to fill in the gaps where we fall short. And so, starting out with something maybe part-time, something that fits into your schedule, and asking the Lord, right, to give you favor with the person hiring. It's always scary because you have a need. And so having a need makes us feel vulnerable. So you have to go in with the attitude of, I could take or leave this job, but I would like it, right? And, asking someone to give you a chance and reminding yourself again of the skills and talents that God has given you and that you have been using all along. You just haven't been getting paid for it.
Absolutely. I can't agree with that more. I've seen that in my own house with my wife, is she's gone back into, starting a performing arts program. And my goodness sakes, man, her skills are in, at the highest of levels. Her leadership is absolutely incredible. And so no one would have maybe seen that as she was doing the things at home. But it's the same thing, just at a little bit different place and a different scale.
Right, and you can start small,
Yeah.
Is there a job at your daughter's school?
Yeah.
Can you work in the lunchroom?
Yeah.
4 hours in the middle of the day.
Well, and I would personally love a shot at your husband here too, because I'm just like, a lot of times the subtlety behind the job thing is it becomes too much of our identity, to be honest. And when we lose it, especially if we had a significant job, we have an entitlement. And that is, I have to earn this amount, or I have to have this title, or it has to be here.
It has to be worthy of me.
Worthy of me, right? So Home Depot can't be an option. And I'm like, why?
Right.
That's just our ego getting in the way. And so I mention all of that because a lot of times this goes back to God. God, I surrender this to you. And in faith, because God meets us at the edge of our risk-taking. That's faith. And so a meaningful risk is we're going to go and we're going to try and see what God has for us as we enter back into the workforce. And I'm telling you straight up, I see an unbelievable opportunity in the American workforce today, and it's called work ethic. You learn something and do something and get it done, and you're going to blow the socks off of a boss or a manager, because of how unfortunately rare that is.
Yeah.
And so when we value the hard work, value our contribution, and take a humble, non-entitled approach, man, I'm telling you, good things can happen for you guys.
Yeah. And how are you going to handle it emotionally, Sally? You're going to handle it moment by moment, one day at a time. You're going to keep breathing, and you're just going to do the next thing that's in front of you. And you're going to build up your resiliency.
Yeah. And so in your therapy, continue, because we can hear it. It's coming right through, is that fear is dominating your story, and fear is trying to make decisions. And so I would love for more, an injection of hope. Just more hope, and hope being in the driver's seat of the decision making and not fear.
And I did hear you say, Sally, that you had to stop therapy. So some kind of support group with other women would be helpful in this time.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think we'll send you a copy of Take Your Life Back from the newlife.com store. Sally, stay on the phone and we'll mail that to you there in Oakland. Thank you so much for listening to us today on newlife.com. And we are out of time. Thank you so much for listening and watching today. We will talk to you again tomorrow here on New Life Live. God bless you guys.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but But you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.